Ladies and gentlemen, it is often said that marriage is one of the greatest institutions that humanity can experience. A union ordained by God, designed to bring two individuals into a profound and purposeful relationship. Yet as we consider this divine institution, we must also understand that marriage is not just a destination, but a journey that requires preparation, both physically and many individuals may find themselves desiring the blessing of a loving marriage, but are unsure of how to know if they are truly ready or if God is preparing them for it. It is during these times of anticipation and hope that we must open our hearts and discern the subtle signs God provides. Signs that reveal His readiness to lead us into the love-filled future He has designed for us. God does not work in confusion or disorder. His ways are intentional, and He prepares us in the deepest and most profound ways to enter into a covenant of love, trust, and partnership. So how can you know if God is preparing you for a loving future marriage? How can you recognize the divine signs and embrace the opportunity He is preparing for? Today we are going to explore 8 distinct signs that God is preparing you for a loving, fulfilling, and purposeful marriage. These signs are not mere coincidences, but divine pointers that align your heart and soul with His ultimate plan for you. Understanding these signs can give you peace, clarity, and confidence as you prepare for the next chapter in your life. A chapter filled with love, partnership, and divine purpose. A deep sense of contentment in your single life. The first sign that God is preparing you for a loving future marriage is the deep sense of contentment you experience in your single life. Now, many people mistakenly believe that being single is a period of lack, a time of waiting for something that will complete them. But in the divine order, God calls us to wholeness, not to emptiness. He prepares us for marriage not by making us feel incomplete, but by filling us with a sense of fulfillment and contentment in our current state. When God is preparing you for a future marriage, He cultivates a profound peace within your heart. This peace comes not from a sense of desperation or longing, but from an understanding that right now you are complete in Him. Your identity is rooted in His love, not in the idea of being married or finding someone else to fill a void. This internal sense of fulfillment allows you to approach marriage not out of need, but out of a desire to share the love, joy, and purpose you already possess with another person. Being content in your single life means understanding that you are fully equipped for life as an individual, and that your future marriage will simply be an extension of the love and fulfillment you have already found in God. It is during this period of contentment that God strengthens your character, refines your values, and prepares you for the mutual exchange of love and commitment that marriage requires. When you are content with who you are as a single person, you are more likely to approach marriage as an act of partnership and unity, not as a way to solve personal problems or fill gaps. This contentment also enables you to enjoy life as it is without waiting for marriage to validate your existence. You can focus on your personal growth, career, passions, and relationships, all while trusting that God will bring the right person at the right time. It is in this contentment that God begins to shape your heart for the next stage of your life. For when you are whole on your own, you will be able to enter into marriage with the intention of complementing another person's life, not completing it. Contentment, however, does not mean complacency. You will still yearn for love and companionship, but these desires will be rooted in a healthy, God-ordained longing that will prepare you to offer love in a meaningful and selfless way when the time is right. When God prepares you for marriage, He first ensures that you are content in the season you are in, allowing you to experience the fullness of life before moving into the fullness of love and partnership. Finally, a content heart helps you avoid entering marriage out of fear, pressure, or impatience. It gives you the strength to wait for the right person and the right timing, knowing that God's plan is always better than our own. The more content you are now, the more you will appreciate the joy of marriage when it arrives. Spiritual growth and emotional maturity. Another clear sign that God is preparing you for a loving future marriage is the growth in your spiritual and emotional maturity. Marriage is not just about companionship, it is about a deep spiritual connection between two people who are called to become one flesh, one spirit. It requires individuals who are emotionally mature enough to navigate the complexities of life together and spiritually rooted enough to build a marriage founded on God's principles. God uses your single season to build this emotional and spiritual foundation. You will begin to notice a deepening of your faith and a greater reliance on God. As you grow spiritually, you become more attuned to God's voice, more aware of His guidance, and more attuned to His plans for your life. You will develop a desire to seek His will in every aspect of your life, especially when it comes to relationships and marriage. God also uses this time to mature you emotionally, teaching you to manage your emotions with wisdom and self-control. Emotional maturity is vital for a successful marriage, as it enables you to respond to challenges with grace, empathy, and understanding. You will find that over time, you are better able to communicate effectively, handle conflict with patience, and prioritize the emotional health of yourself and others. As you grow spiritually and emotionally, you will also experience healing from past wounds, baggage, and unhealthy patterns. This healing process is necessary to ensure that you bring your whole self into your future marriage. God prepares you for marriage not by masking your hurts or suppressing your feelings, but by walking with you through the process of healing, restoration, and transformation. Your relationship with God becomes the ultimate source of emotional strength and stability. As you grow in faith, you will learn to rely on Him for comfort and wisdom, rather than depending on your future spouse to meet every emotional need. A spiritually and emotionally mature person is ready to enter a marriage not to take from their spouse, but to give, to serve, and to support. In addition, spiritual growth leads to a deepened understanding of love itself. You begin to see love not as a fleeting emotion, but as a committed, sacrificial choice that reflects the love God has for us. This understanding prepares you to love in the same way, through actions, not just feelings, and to approach marriage as a covenant rather than a contract. God prepares your heart by teaching you the true meaning of love. Love that is patient, kind, selfless, and enduring. Alignment with God's purpose for your life. Another sign that God is preparing you for a loving future marriage is a growing sense of alignment with His purpose for your life. Marriage is not just about finding a partner. It is about fulfilling the divine purpose that God has set for both of you. When God is preparing you for marriage, He first ensures that you are clear about your purpose as an individual. This sense of alignment with God's purpose helps you understand the role that marriage will play in your life and how it will serve His greater plan. You will find that during this season, God is increasingly showing you your purpose, whether it be in your career, ministry, relationships, or personal growth. As you pursue your purpose, you become more aware of how marriage will enhance and support that purpose rather than detract from it. Your future spouse will not just be a partner in life, they will be a partner in fulfilling God's calling for you both. As you grow in understanding of God's purpose for your life, you also begin to develop a clearer vision of what you need in a partner. You no longer view marriage as a random pairing of two individuals, but as a divine connection that aligns with your purpose. You begin to desire a spouse who shares your values, your vision, and your commitment to God's work. God prepares you for marriage by first preparing you to understand the significance of partnership in fulfilling a greater purpose. This alignment with God's purpose also leads to a greater sense of readiness. You are no longer just waiting for marriage to happen, but are actively preparing for the role that marriage will play in your life. You are ready to give your time, energy, and heart to a relationship that serves the higher purpose of glorifying God, building a family, and contributing to His kingdom. When you are aligned with God's purpose, you are also more attuned to His will in every aspect of your life, including who you marry. The preparation for a loving marriage is intertwined with your spiritual growth, your emotional health, and your divine calling. You are preparing for a partnership that not only satisfies your personal desires, but also serves the higher purpose of bringing glory to God. Increased desire for healthy relationship. As God prepares you for a loving future marriage, He will begin to cultivate in you a deep desire for healthy, God-centered relationships. This is not just a desire for romantic love, but a desire for meaningful connections that reflect His love. God knows that healthy relationships are the foundation of a strong marriage, and He begins to teach you the principles of healthy communication, trust, and respect. You will find yourself more intentional about the relationships you build, prioritizing those that are edifying, supportive, and rooted in mutual respect. God will remove toxic influences from your life and lead you to people who inspire you to grow and become a better version of yourself. Through these relationships, you will learn the skills that are essential for a successful marriage, such as compromise, empathy, forgiveness, and patience. As you grow in your desire for healthy relationships, you will also notice a shift in the way you approach romantic relationships. You will no longer settle for superficial connections or relationships that are not aligned with your values. Instead, you will seek a partnership that is grounded in faith, love, and mutual respect. Your desire for a future marriage becomes less about finding a person to meet your needs and more about finding someone who complements and supports your divine purpose. God's preparation for marriage involves healing past wounds, restoring broken relationships, and teaching you how to build relationships that are built on trust, honesty, and genuine love. You begin to understand that marriage is not about finding someone to complete you, but about finding someone who complements your life and helps you grow into the person God has called you to be. The more you desire healthy relationships, the more God will align you with the right people and the right circumstances that will prepare you for a successful marriage. Your relationships become a reflection of the love and peace God desires for your future marriage. The desire to serve and give One of the most profound signs that God is preparing you for a loving future marriage is a growing desire to serve and give. Marriage is a covenant that involves mutual selflessness, where both partners are called to serve each other in love. It is not about seeking what you can get, but about seeking what you can give. As God prepares you for this sacred union, He places within you a heart of service, a willingness to give of yourself freely for the good of your future spouse. This desire to serve is not limited to romantic love, but extends to all areas of life. You begin to look at relationships, family, and even your community through the lens of service. You realize that love is not a transaction, it is a choice to give freely without expecting anything in return. In marriage, this heart of service allows you to selflessly love your spouse, to support them in their endeavors, and to encourage them in their growth. God prepares you for marriage by transforming your heart, helping you understand the true nature of love. He removes any selfish tendencies and fills you with the desire to give of yourself to another person. This selflessness is crucial in marriage, because without it, the relationship will always be imbalanced. It is in giving that you experience the fullness of. As you embrace a life service, you will also begin to see marriage as an opportunity to serve God through your partner. You will understand that your marriage is not just for your own happiness, but for the greater purpose of building God's kingdom and fulfilling His will. This desire to serve reflects the heart. When you desire to serve, you also begin to develop a deep appreciation for the role of marriage in God's divine plan. You see it as a sacred calling, a place where both partners can grow, serve, and love one another as they fulfill God's purpose for their lives. Divine timing and peace. You approach the point where God is preparing you for marriage, you will experience a sense of divine timing and peace. God does not operate on our schedules, but on His perfect timing. When He prepares you for marriage, He aligns everything in your life according to His will. There will be a deep sense of peace that transcends understanding as you realize that everything is unfolding according to His plan. Divine timing is critical when it comes to marriage. God knows the right time for you to enter into this sacred covenant, and He will make it clear when that time has come. As you trust in His perfect timing, you begin to relax in the knowledge that everything is in His hands. There is no rush or anxiety, only the peace of knowing that God is orchestrating every detail. This peace gives you confidence in the future as you understand that your marriage will unfold in God's timing, not your own. You no longer feel the need to hurry or force things, but instead trust in God's provision and guidance. This peace also allows you to embrace the waiting period with joy and expectation, knowing that God is preparing you for something beautiful and divinely ordained. Divine timing also means that God prepares the heart of your future spouse as well. When the time is right, both of you will be ready to enter into a relationship that is grounded in love, faith, and purpose. The peace you feel is a sign that God's perfect timing is at work, and that your future marriage will be everything He has promised. Desire to build a family and legacy. A clear went through that. A clear sign is going through that experiences kind of last. A family that reflects His love and purpose. A family that also is given to marriage, dependence, and integrity in us to build peace and harmony and legacy, meaning within the relationship. Marriage is not just about the couple, it is about creating a foundation for a family that will carry forward the values, faith, and love of God. When God prepares you for marriage, He begins to stir in your heart the desire to build something lasting, a family that reflects His love and purpose. This desire to build a family is not just about having children, but about creating a nurturing environment where love, faith, and purpose can thrive. You begin to see marriage not as an isolated relationship, but as a central part of a broader divine calling to raise up the next generation and pass on the values that are important to you and God. God prepares you for marriage by planting within you the vision for a future that is grounded in legacy and generational blessing. You begin to understand that your marriage is part of something much larger than yourself. It is about leaving a legacy of love, faith, and purpose for those who come after you. When you desire to build a family, you also understand the importance of preparation. You begin to lay the foundation for the future, making decisions and taking steps that will ensure you are ready to create the family and legacy that God desires. This preparation is both practical and spiritual as you work to cultivate a heart and home that are ready to welcome the blessings that come with marriage. God's preparation for marriage includes the vision for a family that will impact the world for His kingdom. It is a sign that you are not just preparing for a relationship, but for a future that will bear fruit for generations to come. Increased readiness for commitment and responsibility. Finally, one of the most obvious signs that God is preparing you for a loving future marriage is the growing readiness you feel for commitment and responsibility. Marriage is a covenant, and with that covenant comes the responsibility to care for and nurture another person, to be committed through all seasons of life. God prepares you for marriage by deepening your sense of commitment in all areas of life. You begin to take your responsibilities more seriously, whether in your career, your friendships, or your relationship with God. This readiness for commitment is essential because marriage requires a level of devotion that goes beyond emotions. It requires the willingness to serve, to sacrifice, and to endure. This readiness for responsibility also means that you begin to see the importance of preparation. You take practical steps to ensure that you are ready for the responsibilities that come with marriage, including financial stability, emotional maturity, and the ability to provide and care for a family. As God prepares you for marriage, He helps you see that it is not just about love and romance, but about making a lifelong commitment to someone else. You are ready to stand by your spouse, to grow together, and to honor the sacred vows of marriage. God is always at work preparing us for the future He has planned, and for those of us waiting for a loving, purpose-driven marriage, His signs are clear. From contentment in our single lives to a deep desire for commitment and legacy, God is actively shaping us to enter into a covenant of love, trust, and service. As we embrace these signs and trust in His timing, we can be confident that He is preparing us for a marriage that will reflect His love and fulfill His divine purpose for our lives.